What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Properties and Pour-Overs podcast. My name is Adam Colburn, and today I have a very special guest, my buddy Anton Hartmann. What's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming through. And so can you tell our listeners where you're located in the country and what your business looks like right now?
First of all, thank you, Adam. You're doing great work there in North Carolina.
Thanks, man. I
Beautiful
appreciate it.
flips, and here you're getting into the sober living space, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, again, thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it.
My name is Anton Hartmann. I am based outside of the city of Atlanta, and I've been in real estate here for several years now, and just really taking it all in and going forward.
Love it, man. Love it. And so what is your main strategy? Are you a buy and hold investor? Are you fix and flipping in the Atlanta area? What is your main business model?
My main business model is a focus on getting homeowners or people that aspiring homeowners that can't get traditional financing into houses via the lease option or wrap strategy.
Okay. Love it. Are you doing that specifically in your local market in Georgia, or are you doing it in multiple states?
I do it in multiple states, primarily. The largest portion of my business and portfolio is in the state of Colorado,
Okay.
but also do a whole set of from along the kind of center of the country, from Kansas City across towards Virginia and that whole area.
Gotcha. Love it. What does your team look like? Is it just you? Do you have some operators on your team that are acquiring these deals, or tell me a little bit about that?
So my primary source of incoming traffic is from wholesalers.
Okay.
Anyone who has creative properties anywhere in the country. Anton C. Hartmann on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, smoke signals. And any way you can get me a deal, I'm more than happy to look at anything creative.
Love it.
And I'm also working. I don't know if we talked about this, simplestarthomes.com, which is a sales platform they're using to drive homestead buyers, and going to be starting to work with investors, their wholesalers, to be able to help them get properties into to the homestead market.
Gotcha. So you're building a database of potential homestead buyers that you could help dispo these properties for other wholesalers or creative investors.
Absolutely. And it's also, we're also actively marketing individual properties in addition to doing, generic marketing to drive, potential buyers.
Build up
in.
kind of like an interest.
Yeah,
interested
we're building up
parties.
basically a buyer's list.
Yeah.
I mean, similar to, what someone might do in the wholesale space looking for
Sure.
investor buyers.
Yeah.
We're doing in the creative space.
I love it. That's awesome, man. Very cool. And definitely necessary, because I feel like, I can't remember the stat. It's something crazy, though. It's like 65% of loan applications are not approved.
Yeah,
And so I feel like there's more people that can't get financed than there are that can.
Yeah, no, there's a huge number that don't have access, and I really see it as, for those people, it's an affordable housing issue. Yeah. The most affordable house in America today is the house that someone bought 20 years ago and they're still living in today.
Absolutely.
And if we fast forward 20 years, that same thing is going to be true. Sure. And anyone, for whatever reason, was locked out of being able to buy a home now is permanently going to be at a disadvantage, not just from a wealth acquisition perspective, but also from a stability perspective. Sure. Families that have to move constantly, have children moving from school to school, job disruptions, wondering whether their rent's going to go up, whether they can even renew their lease.
Right.
And those kinds of uncertainties do a huge amount of damage, even more than just the loss of that wealth asset.
Absolutely. Yeah, just the emotional toll that would hold on, like you're saying, like a kid having to constantly switch schools, make new friends, do that kind of stuff, to not have that stability at home is huge. Wow, that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what did life look like before you got in this space, and what brought you to real estate?
Well, I was previously I have a finance background and an IT background, and I still do some work in that space. But for me, real estate, it's an investment in tangible assets, something that can produce lifelong stability for me and family, but also there really is a mission aspect that ties into it. I'm from especially in the creative space, there's usually a seller who was in trouble and was got out of a tough situation. In the case of what I'm working with, there's buyers that are in tough situations. But the other thing that I'm focusing on in the course of that, there can be a third person in this equation, and that's a private money partner, where for someone who's able to bring $20,000 to $60,000, they have the opportunity to start buying a fractional portfolio, and people whether that may not have the time or ability to get into real estate themselves,
Sure.
or in some of the same communities that I get my buyers from, like Hispanic communities and other minority communities, where access to good quality investments is also limited.
Sure.
And the trust factor that can come into it.
Yeah.
So it's a way of, in every transaction, there can be 3 or 4 winners. And I love that about the space that
Absolutely.
I'm in.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And so obviously not everything is rainbows and butterflies in this space, right? I'm sure there's been some bumps along the road for you. Can you tell me about like a specific challenge that's happened in your business and kind of how you overcame that?
There's always, like you said, there's always challenges. There's deals that have gotten down to the last minute. You've put a lot of time and effort into it, and suddenly I had a deal that ended up not going through about 6 months ago in South Carolina. It was an arrears situation. There were a whole bunch of problems, but those were all understood and managed. But then 48 hours before closing, discovered that there was $70,000 in South Carolina Department of Revenue tax liens.
Oof.
So,
That's that's quite a bit.
Yeah, folks,
Goodness.
that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
And we've had other, I've had other types of, situations, but real estate, for the most part, real estate is about solving problems, whether it's solving a problem in a transaction, solving a problem for a seller, solving a problem for a buyer. Fundamentally, what we do is solve problems.
Absolutely.
And it's all about mitigating the impacts and
trying to find that true win-win for everybody that's involved. Okay, I love it. So like we've been mentioning as we're batching out these podcasts, Pace has kind of challenged us with this Mount Everest goal, this large goal that we're going to chase for the next 3 to 5 years. That's going to be difficult to attain by ourselves, right? We're going to have to bring on people to make that happen. What is your Mount Everest that you're chasing?
My real Mount Everest, and I'm fortunate in this space that it really dovetails into what I'm already doing.
Sure.
I've done 22 or so in the last year in this either seller finance or lease option space. And I'm looking to do at least 100 more in the next 2 years. And if I get out to 5 years, 500 or 1,000. And then I also have another partner with which I'm starting to do some co-living, because I see ultimately one of the reasons that affordability is difficult is that if you're very burdened during the times earlier in your life where you're renting, it becomes very difficult to accumulate any amount of money to even have $5,000 or $10,000 to even get into a lease option.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I love that. Okay. And so if somebody's watching this, they want to reach out to you, send you a deal, kind of learn about your strategy, is Instagram the best place to reach you, or YouTube?
Instagram's great, like Anton Hartmann. It's that same thing across all the platforms, YouTube, Facebook. those are great ways to reach me. Also, our simplestarthomes.com platform is, another wonderful way to reach. And so always looking for wholesale pitch deals, creative opportunities. And there's also, as I mentioned, the investment opportunity that, is focused both obviously to real estate investors, traditional real estate investors, but also if anyone in the community that might be interested. We're talking about relatively small investments, $20,000 to $40,000. You can own a quarter or a third of a cash flowing property.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well that's great, man. I love to hear your story. If somebody's watching this and they're brand new getting started, is there one piece of advice that you could give them as they're like embarking on their real estate investment journey?
Do not do it alone. If you do it alone, you will pay a heavy price in terms of what I call tuition. As you learn, you can go on your own and pay the tuition yourself, or you can partner with someone who has done it before. If you're going to be doing a fix and flip, it makes much more sense to work with someone like Adam, who's got a whole bunch of those under his belt. He's learned the painful lessons, just like I've learned painful lessons in my space. He's learned painful lessons in his space. And it makes way more sense to learn from the dollars we've spent than to learn with your own dollars.
Beautifully said. I think that's awesome. Well, Anton, thank you so much for coming through, sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for taking the time, inviting me on.
Absolutely.
You're doing great work, and proud to be on here with you, and proud to call you a friend.
Awesome, man. It's been a pleasure. Well, thanks guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until the next one, we'll catch you later.